Hey socialites, welcome back. And if you're new, I'm Ariel. I do mainly beauty, fragrance, and a little bit of lifestyle every now and again. So today's going to be a foundation review. This is the new Benefit foundation. It's called the POREfessional foundation. This is another one of those skincare packed foundations that's supposed to blur pores, smooth, and be long lasting. Okay, so one of the key ingredients is niacinamide, which is supposed to smooth the look of pores and skin texture and contributes to the hydration. There's also glycerin in this foundation that helps to retain the skin's moisture. So it's supposed to be hydrating as well. I picked up my bottle from Ulta, retails for $47, but it's also available at Sephora. So if you want to see how I got this look and how this foundation stood up after our wear test, then keep watching. Okay, socialites, so here's the packaging, similar to what we would normally expect from Benefit. Love that it's pink with the white writing. That's really cute. This is the POREfessional foundation, smoothing and blurring foundation. Comes with 1 ounce of product. This is the outer packaging here, which I think is so cute. Has that egg-like top that we've seen that before from a couple of brands, but not exactly like this. It does have a little flat situation right there that makes it easy to, grip onto and open it up. Plastic pump, glass bottle. So the directions do say to shake well. I am going to start off with 1 pump. Whenever I do foundation reviews, I don't put primers and prep products underneath because I want to see how this product performs on its own. Every foundation does not need a primer, by the way. Now, if you have like extreme skin, like extremely dry or extremely oily skin, then you may not be able to get away with that. But my skin is normal combo. So every foundation doesn't warrant a primer for me. So this is 1 pump, which seems like a little bit of product. And the directions on the Sephora website does say like evenly distribute it all over and then blend with a damp sponge. But I don't really use damp sponges for my foundation. So I'm going to use a foundation brush, and this is thin and liquidy. Like I'm going to do 1 more pump. It doesn't really run, but when you feel it, it feels really, really thin, like super thin and liquidy. Now, I do think the shade is slightly deep for me or slightly too neutral. I got the shade 31N Exceptional. When I looked on the website, they really did seem like they had several shades that would work for me. So there was no way around me going in the store. I had to go in the store to match myself. This seems like the best match for me. But when I went back to look at the model online, the model does look like that would be my color, to be honest. But I prefer more neutral foundations because if you were to see me in real life, y'all, my undertone is super red. Like I'm one of those that you would call like red skin. But I don't like to match my foundation to that. I like to go more neutral. Even on clients, if you're like super red or super golden, I use foundation to sort of neutral you out. And that really does work for everybody. I'm not saying you have to do it that way, but it does work for everybody. So I can't tell if it's oxidizing immediately. It does look like it oxidizes a little bit. Do you guys see that? Like, it's hard for me to tell if it's oxidizing immediately or if this is initially the shade is just deep like this. I haven't blended that, so I feel like it oxidizes a little bit. Like once I blend it, it gets slightly deeper. Yeah, it gets more brown when I blend it. But the other shades that I tested in store, they looked sort of reddish, like the ones around my skin tone. When I swatched them on my hand, they looked kind of red, but I didn't try blending them. Looks really smooth though. Now they did have 40 shades to choose from, and the shade range looked pretty extensive. Like I can see how much more brown it is than on my skin tone. So the finish is more so like a natural finish. It doesn't look super matte and it doesn't look luminous or anything either. And those are the claims that it gives you. And the coverage does look medium because I can still see a little bit of hyperpigmentation through the product. It's covering a little bit more than medium because the shade is dark for me. I'm gonna take the Haus Labs concealers. This is really good medium coverage concealer. Shade 40 is the deeper shade. And then shade 34 is what I'm using in the inner corner just for slight brightness. It's not super bright though. The foundation brush that I use, by the way, is from Morphe. It is the M106 flat brush, which is not one of my favorites at all. So I'm going to blend the concealer with my BK Beauty 109. The Morphe brush is a bit on the stiff side. After I washed it, it became a little bit more, I guess, pliable. Well, okay, so Hoola recently launched these bronzing bombs, which I do like. The shade range does suck, y'all. I think if this isn't the darkest shade, they may have one that's a little darker than this, but not too much darker. And this, like, works for me though. Deep works for me. So I'm going to take my BK Beauty 110 brush and go right in. Now, you can really go in with this product because it's not super pigmented. It's a little bit more sheared out. You're never really going to apply too much. So if you were like experimenting with cream bronzers or cream contour because you're scared of like how the blending would be or applying too much, this one would probably be a good one for you. But I feel like this sort of product is ideal for when you do those no makeup looks or like a sheer foundation, because it shows up a lot more that way. Going in with two liquid blushes. These are both from Rare Beauty, the shade Love and Happy. I'm gonna put Love here and Happy here. Taking a clean BK Beauty 109 brush, I'm just gonna ombre these in, going from the deepest shade first and then the lighter shade. Okay, I'm gonna brighten my inner corners a little bit with an e.l.f. concealer. This is just for brightening. It's the 16-hour concealer in neutral tan. A little bit of this goes a long way, and I'm only going to put it like right here because we don't want it to spread out too much, so you have to be careful and put just a little bit. I'm gonna let this sit for just a second and take my About Face brow pencil. It's in the shade Ash Brown. Now this is the Benefit Mighty Brow Pen in 3.5. It has like 3 little tips on the front of it. So I also picked up the Benefit Glow La La. This is the new Velvet Gleam Illuminator in the shade Comet Deep Dark. And I thought this was so beautiful. I figured I could use this for the look, but because it has such, y'all, it feels so creamy. But because of this shade, I thought I would be able to use this initially like as like a little bronzer. But y'all, this is just too, I guess, gleamy and illuminating. Oh, so beautiful though. So I almost wish I would have used this instead of the Rare Beauty, almost like a blush bronzer situation. And one, because this with this look is going to be too much, you know. Maybe I can put it on the eyes though. Let's try it on the eyes and see how that works out. But we're gonna go ahead and set the face first. So I'm gonna take my Amicole. Hey, did you guys hear that? Well, one of the socialites just sent me a message today and said that Amicole will be closing down in September. Oh my gosh, and they're one of the best brands in Sephora, you guys. So good. So I'll have to pick up quite a few of these before they shut down. They recently had a sale like last week. That was an amazing sale. I got like some brow pencils for $4. I think I got concealers for like $3. So I'm pretty sure up until September, they're gonna have some amazing sales. So just keep a lookout for Amicole sales. You know, I hate to see them going, but this is the Skin Melt Loose Powder, which is one of my favorites. They come in different shades, but I'm using the shade Translucent. Taking my Sephora sponge. Did y'all see that Sephora has new merch out, which are some like tight crew neck sweatshirts in a cream color, which would be like right up my alley. And they also have hats, like 2 different kinds, like cream one and then like a cream one with black accents. And on the sweatshirt, it has like the Sephora lines like on the arm part, kind of like how the Adidas, I think it feels sort of Adidas inspired, how they put those 3 lines somewhere on their clothes, but you know, that's also Sephora's signature too. But so cute. I ordered 2 of the sweatshirts and 1 of the ball caps. I don't know, with powder the shade doesn't look too off, but sometimes it's hard for me to tell looking in the viewfinders when I go in and edit. I'm like, oh girl, that was not it. So I'm just gonna take a tiny bit of powder just to like lightly set everywhere else, just so that the whole face will be set. Taking my Benefit Hooler Treasure Island palette, the darker shade, just to lightly contour around my edges. Okay, so I'm gonna take that Glow La La, the shade Comet. Y'all, this is so creamy and buttery. I don't think I've ever felt a bronzer like product quite like this. It's pretty. Taking my Mob Beauty palette, I'm just gonna put this medium warm tone brown in the crease. Y'all, this foundation feels extremely lightweight. It's like, feels like there's nothing on your face at all. It's super thin. So I'm gonna pop on some lashes and mascara and we'll move on to the lips. Taking my Westman Atelier lip liner. This one is in the shade Mink, which I'm loving right now. Makeup by Mario Moisture Glow in the shade Caramel. And no setting spray because we want to see how long this lasts on its own. So they say 24-hour long wear and hydration. So this is supposed to be super long lasting. So it's now 3:13 p.m. I'm going to wear the foundation for at least the next 4 or 5 hours. Check back in and let you guys see how it stood up. Okay, socialites, so I'm back. It is now 7:08 p.m. I've cooked, did a little bit of cleaning. That's about it. So this is what it looks like. I have not touched my face. I didn't blot it all per usual when I do foundation reviews. So as you guys can see, there's a bit of shine in this area. It's a bit shiny here. It's not super oily yet, but it's only 4 hours later, and to have this amount of shine, this is a foundation that I would definitely wear a primer with. Usually my e.l.f. liquid putty primer is like my go-to to extend the wear of my makeup, but anything that would help it be a little bit more long wearing, or I wouldn't even say mattified, a little bit more long wearing is what I would wear underneath here, because if it looks like this at 4 hours, at 6 hours, it will definitely be shinier than this. At about the almost 3 hour mark is when I started to see shine. Now my pores do look, I wonder if you guys can see it, my pores do look a little bit more emphasized. So a primer would probably help with that as well. Now, during the time I left you guys, I did edit the whole first portion of this video, and I did see when you start to blend the foundation, it does oxidize darker. So I'm glad that I did go ahead and edit that so I could see exactly what it looks like. But for some reason, I feel like the shade still works, like I could get away with it. If this would be a foundation that I loved or wanted to wear often, I would see if they have a better shade than this. I looked on the website. I'll pop a picture up so you guys can see the model that I think might be my color, but I don't know if it'll be too light or not. But I think I may have options if I wanted to exchange it for another color. So with that being said, if you are dry skin, I think this would be a great formula for you to try because it's very hydrating. You may or may not need a primer with it, but if you are an oily skin girly, like a true oily skin girly, like the type that no matter what foundation you use, in 3 hours you see more shine than this, then you're truly oily. I wouldn't recommend this for you because there's so many other foundations that you could use that would be much better for you. But if you're just stuck on this foundation and you wanted to try it out, make sure you use your best oil controlling primer. I recommend the Danessa Myricks Yummy Skin Balm in Universal, which is the clear one. So yeah, that's my 1-2 on the Benefit POREfessional foundation. Comment down below, let me know, what do you think? What do you guys think for this being 4 hours later? Have you tried this foundation? Are you interested in trying it? Everything I mentioned in today's video, I'll have linked in the description box. So be sure to check that out, or either linked on the screen on the YouTube shopping tab. And if you're new here, welcome. I'd love for you to come join the family. At this point, Until school starts back, I can already expect to be interrupted before the end of this video one way or another. But if you're new, I'd love for you to subscribe. Come join the family. Thank you all so much for watching, and I'll see you on the next one. 'Cause I've been where you are. You're too scared to show me love. 'Cause too fresh with the scars.